Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Unique Bio Classes based on NCERT syllabus for PUC first and second year. If you like my channel, please subscribe, like and share and hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications as soon as videos are getting uploaded. Okay, we shall start today's video. In our previous class, we have discussed about the last chapter, that is chapter 2, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now we shall discuss about the next chapter, that is chapter 3, human reproduction. Human reproduction, in this chapter we are going to discuss totally the reproduction which takes place in human. How does it takes place, how does the production of gametes and all. There are few of the topics which we are going to discuss in this chapter. That is, first one is the male reproductive system, then comes the female reproductive system, then comes gametogenesis, menstrual cycle, fertilization and implantation, pregnancy and embryonic development, parturition and lactation. So these are the concepts which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay, so in this this chapter is very important, as from this chapter only you are going to get 5-mark question, and from this chapter you are going to get the diagrams. Okay, from diagrams only you can score more, so those diagrams you are getting from this chapter. Okay, in this chapter it is a continuation of your first chapter, as we have discussed about sexual reproduction. You must know the basic concepts of that what we have discussed in the first chapter. The basic concept what we discussed is pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. Okay, in pre-fertilization we said gametogenesis and gamete transfer, then fertilization. In a post-fertilization, and there is a formation of zygote and embryo. Same concept, same continuation you will find here also. Okay, here you can find the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system, it is located, we shall discuss about that one here. The human male reproductive system. Okay, the human male reproductive system. The male reproductive system, what does it consider, where does it is located? Its location of male reproductive system is in the pelvis region. Now where does this pelvis region is present? It is present in between the joints of hind limbs, where hind limbs have been attached to the pelvic bone. So that region we call it as pelvis region. So in this region male reproductive system is present. Now this male reproductive system, it includes the organs. First one, pair of testes. Okay, it includes pair of testes. Second one, accessory ducts. Next, third one, accessory glands or only glands. Okay, fourth one is external genitalia. External genitalia. Okay, these are the 4 major parts which we are discussing in the male reproductive system. So first we shall start with the pair of testes. Okay, now this pair of testes. Now this pair of testes, these are situated outside the abdominal cavity. Okay, where it is present? It is present outside abdominal cavity, where abdomen is present. In that abdomen, above and outside of that abdomen, you can find these testes are present, and these testes are present in the outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called as scrotum. Okay, it is present in a pouch called as scrotum. Now this scrotum is a fluid filled, it is filled with one of the fluid called as hydrocele. Okay, it is filled with a hydrocele. Now testes is present outside the abdominal cavity, and it is present within a pouch called as scrotum, and scrotum, it consists of a fluid called as hydrocele. Now what is the use of this pouch like structure for testes? Now this helps in function of scrotum. It helps to maintain low temperature of testes. Okay, low temperature of testes. Now scrotum is maintaining low temperature. What is that low temperature? 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade, lower than the normal internal body. Okay, lower than the normal internal body. What temperature we have? Lower than that, 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade will be present, will be maintained by a scrotum. Now why it should maintain this one? Why it requires it? Because for spermatogenesis, because for spermatogenesis. Now spermatogenesis is what? It is a process of production of sperms. Okay, in through spermatogenesis, it is nothing but a gametogenesis, the process of formation of gametes, what we studied. Now because it is producing sperms, so we call it as spermatogenesis. So the production of sperms. For production of sperms, it requires low temperature, and that low temperature in a testis is maintained by whom? Scrotum. Okay, so pair of testes, it is present outside the abdominal cavity, and it is present in a pouch like structure called as scrotum, and that scrotum helps to maintain low temperature of the testes, that is lower than the internal body temperature, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade. Why it is required to maintain this temperature? That is for spermatogenesis, so that it can produce sperms. Okay, then after this, about testes, we have shape of testes. Okay, shape of testes is oval. Length of testes will be 4 to 5 centimeters. It will be in an adult male. In an adult male, you will have this this length, and width, it is about 2 to 3 centimeter. Okay, so these are the some of the shape, length and width of the testes. Now the testis is covered by two coverings, which means dense covering is present for testis. Now that dense covering is how? By two. Outer, two coverings it has, outer and inner. The outer one is tunica albuginea, and inner one is tunica vaginalis. Okay, inner one, tunica vaginalis. So these are the two of those. I think it is like this: outer tunica vaginalis, inner tunica albuginea. By mistake I mentioned that outer tunica vaginalis. It should be like this, and this should be like this. Okay, inner tunica albuginea. These are the two coverings which is present on the testis. It is having a dense covering. Now after that, testis, it has 250 compartments. Okay, testis, it has 250 compartments. These compartments, it is called as testicular lobules. These compartments, it is called as testicular lobules. Okay, now these compartments, they are called as testicular lobules. How many compartments? 250, which means how many testicular lobules? 250 testicular lobules are present in each testis. Now each testicular lobule, it has 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Okay, seminiferous tubules. Now 250 compartments, what we call testicular lobules. Each testicular lobule, it is having 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Now these seminiferous tubules, okay, they consist of two types of cells. Seminiferous tubules, they consist of, it is lined by two types of cells. One is male germ cell, which is also called as Spermatogonia, and second one is Sertoli cells. Okay, second one is Sertoli cells. Now function of Sertoli cells is providing nutrition to Spermatogonia. Which means these Sertoli cells, they provide nutrition to these male germ cells or Spermatogonia. Now these male germ cells will undergo meiosis to produce sperms. Okay, now when male germ cells, when we are saying it as male germ cells, it is what? It is gamete mother cell, because that itself is undergoing meiosis and producing a gamete. So that's why this will be a gamete mother cell which undergo meiosis to produce a gamete called as sperms. Fine. So these are the two cells which are lined. Two types of cells in seminiferous tubules which are lined by male germ cells, Spermatogonia or Sertoli cells. Now with that, you can find one more. What is that one more? There are presence of interstitial spaces. interstitial spaces. These interstitial spaces are present where? In between the seminiferous tubules. I shall show you how does it appears. Now these interstitial spaces, they consist of, they do have blood vessels, and they also have interstitial cells. Okay, interstitial cells. Now these interstitial cells are also called as Leydig cells. Fine. So as earlier we have said that seminiferous tubules are present. These seminiferous tubules are present in testicular lobules. Now seminiferous tubules consist of these two. In between the two seminiferous tubules there is presence of space. That space we call it as interstitial space. Now that interstitial space consists of blood vessels and interstitial cells. Those interstitial cells are also called as Leydig cells. The function of this Leydig cell is to synthesize and secrete testicular hormones. You will get one more question. Name the cells which secrete testicular hormones, or name the cells which secrete androgens. Okay, these testicular hormones are called as androgens. Right? So in androgens, mainly which hormone? Testosterone. This hormone is getting secreted. Okay. So as we have said earlier about this male reproductive system. Now this is the male reproductive system. You can find it here. Okay, in this male reproductive system you will find there is presence of testes. These are the pair of testes, and these are accessory ducts, and there is the external genitalia. The other parts I shall discuss later. First I shall discuss about the testes. It is like this. Here they have shown the cross section of that. Here it is how it appears from the outside. Now in the cross section you can find there are tubules like structure. These are testicular lobules, and each lobule consists of seminiferous tubules. I shall draw that one here. Okay. From outside it appears like this. Then we take a section of that. It is having this kind of structure. In that you can find there are 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Each one, I am showing only 3 to 4 testicular lobules. These are testicular lobules, but there will be 250 testicular lobules in each testis, and 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules will be present like this. Okay. Now when we take a transverse section of this, transverse section of this, how it appears? It appears like this, with many number of seminiferous tubules. Okay, it appears like this. I am showing only 5, but there will be many number of these seminiferous tubules like this. Now in the seminiferous tubules, what we said, it is lined by two types of cells. One is Sertoli cell and another one is Spermatogonia. Okay, like this. I will show that one here. Only one enlarged diagram I shall draw it here. Okay, this is one seminiferous tubule I have taken from here, and it has been enlarged. Now two types of cells are there, something like this. Now in that, these we call it as Sertoli cells. Okay, now you can find there are presence of these cells, which we call it as Spermatogonia. Okay, these are Spermatogonia, which will be completely lined, something like this. Now these spermatogonial cells later they undergo meiosis, and they will produce something like this. This is last one is sperm with a tail, as you will find. So it undergoes meiosis like this. Similarly, in other places of this Spermatogonia, of this Sertoli cells also will appear like this. Okay. Now you have to fill here also. See, this is how sperms are appearing. Now if we go through as I have shown earlier in this picture, seminiferous tubules, testicular lobules I have shown. In testicular lobules, seminiferous tubules are consist of two types of cells, Spermatogonia and Sertoli cells. Spermatogonia will produce sperms, right? If you can find Sertoli cells, Spermatogonia, they have produced sperms. Now in this picture we have shown many number of seminiferous tubules are there. In between many number of seminiferous tubules there are spaces, the space which you can find it here. What space is there? For that space what we call it as interstitial space, which we have given here. Okay, that space is called as interstitial space. What does it consist of? Blood vessels and interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Now in this space there will be presence of blood cells and interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Now these Leydig cells, what does they synthesize? These are now Leydig cells. What does they synthesize? They synthesize androgens. Okay, they produce androgens, right? So this is the structure of TS of seminiferous tubules or TS of testes and their diagram. This one is the male reproductive system, and for TS of testes you can find here seminiferous tubule. It is here. Okay. So this one is quite confusing, but what I have shown, one picture which I have drawn properly in a seminiferous tubule, you can copy that one and you can fill it here, and you can find the same structure is available here. Okay, this diagram also has been asked for 2 or 3 marks to draw this only diagram, and this diagram has been asked to draw for 5 marks. Remember, very important it is. Okay, then after this, as we have started with here, first we have discussed about pair of testes, right? This we have completed. Next we shall see about accessory ducts. Okay, fine. Now we shall see about accessory ducts. Now in this accessory ducts we have first one, rete testes, vasa efferentia. Okay, then comes epididymis, then comes vasa deferens. Okay, so these are the 4 accessory ducts. Now what do you mean by accessory? Accessory, it will enhance, it will help for the production. So now you can find this accessory. How does it help? Yeah, as I have shown the diagram of testes. Okay, here I have shown. Now I will show it here. So this was the testis, right? In that seminiferous tubules, something testicular lobules we have shown like this. Okay, now we shall draw it further. I am just showing roughly. You have a proper diagram in your textbook. Okay, now these we call it as testicular lobules, right? We have many 250 testicular lobules will be present. Inside that we said there is presence of seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubules. Okay, now the space which you can find here. Now seminiferous tubules are producing sperms. Those sperms will be stored in this region. Now that space which you can find, for that we call it as rete testis. Okay, it is the space which is here, it is called as rete testis. Now in this you can find there will be presence of this kind of structure, that is like pipeline. Okay, many number of tubes are present. For this part we call it as vasa efferentia. Okay, for this part we call it as vasa efferentia. Now this region, which is slightly coiled portion and quite large portion compared to the other region, this portion we call it as epididymis. Okay, now this, after that you can find a long tube which is moving on here. For that we call it as vasa deferens. Okay, so these are the 4 portions. Now we shall see what are their functions. Rete testis, it is used to store. It will store sperms here. Okay, it will store sperms here. As soon as sperms have been produced from the seminiferous tubule,